To our YouTube videos. My name is Peter Anamo, the prophet with difference, the prophet with credentials and documents of evidented work prophetically for almost 20 years of prophetic work. And I want you to like this video immediately you see this video and as you are watching it so that you don't forget. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and then remember to share it to your friends. The last time we saw some series about the end of democracy. Why? Everything is clear. God said, learn the times, read the signs. We saw how Ghana's parliament disgraced themselves. We saw how the Congress Capitol building attacked in America. And we saw the worst of it in Uganda parliament. Very terrible. These are legislators. So what good is left in democracy? When government leave exorbitantly expensive, waste money of the people, appoint unnecessary appointees. When the professional was asked, how many government ministers do you expect Ghana as a country to have of 30 million? He said 40 or a little bit over 40 ministers, which is very, very true. I don't even see it that way. We need less than 20 or 20. What is the people who are in charge of the departments that are called directors? What are they for? Why can't government use them to run the system? But you bring your own people just to come and corrupt themselves, exploit the people. Anyway, our mission is to let you know, after we have said so much about how God brought in his idea of governance on earth, even when it was not yet time, to introduce to us, to give us an early show of his interest in the governance of the world. Today we are going to look at how much even Jesus himself delved into governance on earth and his interest in the politics of governance. Do you remember a woman came with his two sons who were also disciples of Jesus Christ and said, Lord, when you enter your kingdom, allow one of my sons to sit at the right, one to sit at the left. And that stirred up a whole round of controversy and fight among the 10 disciples that were left. They said, what do you mean? How about us? Look at Peter. In the midst of their fight, Jesus released a bombshell, and which was got to do with political talk and his interest on how governance are done on earth, which was terrible. And I want to take you in. Today we are going to read the Amplified. The Bible, the Amplified, makes things very clear and deep. And this is found in the book of Matthew 20. Matthew 20 in the verse 25. I read. And Jesus called them to him and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men hold them in subjection, tyrannizing over them. So analyze this statement Jesus made. Look at the statement. He said, you know, which means it's something that was going on. What was going on? He said the kings of the Gentiles. That means the government of the people. The worldly government. Gentiles means worldly people, ungodly people. You know, Israel was a distinguished nation that belonged to God. So everything they do in Israel is different. The Pharisees even couldn't enter the government of Rome's office because they call it unclean. Not the government's house either. So he said the government system of the world, lodge it over the people, terrorize them. That is what he says. Tyranny. And then make the people subjects. Can you imagine people that put you into power to decide and to lead them? You turn around and make them subjects. That is why in the kingdom of God, God has kings, and he is the King of kings. So in the kingdom of God, as citizens, we are all kings. Nobody is a subject. But in this world, look at the kings and the queens. They are people as subjects. And sometimes they are even rejects. Jesus said, you know, that means it is something that everybody knew, that the governments were exploiting the people. In other words, they were vampires. Of course. Look at African government, the way they go about their life, exploiting the nation's resources, mismanaging it to their own selfish interests, making the people that put them in power as subjects. Please like this video, for it will let others know that this is coming their way. It will let them get it. Please like it, just thumb it so that you don't forget. And apart from that, share it to people you know. And if you are new to this video, subscribe so that we can keep giving you more. Jesus talked about the governance system of the world and said they make people subjects and they terrorize people. They vampire the people. They exploit them. And they are benefactors. Let's go ahead. He says, verse 26, not so shall it be among you, but whosoever wish to be great among you must be your servant. What the governments of this world are doing shouldn't be happening in your government too. That means Jesus was interested in bringing his government. God is interested in establishing his government. God is warning his people that will be in government. Don't be like the world's government. That is what the Bible is saying. Matthew 20, 25 and verse 26 I've just read. And let's read the verse 27. It says, and whosoever desires to be first among you must be your slave. In other words, if we voted people in government, they should have been our slaves. As Jesus is saying, that if we have God's government in place and people are appointed in God's government, they must be slaves to the people. That means the people must be masters. At the end of it, when you read the whole place, you see Jesus telling the people that, look at me, am I not your Lord? But did I not come down to serve you? Wash your feet. You see? Jesus made sure he washed the feet of his servant and told them to also wash the feet of the other people that they will be serving. Humility, humbleness. What do we see with human governments? What do we see with democracy that we are making noise about? Yes, democracy is the best than other human governments. But the government of God is the most best. And that is why democracy is coming to an end. God has waited for this time. It has been 1,500 plus years. And now the season is up. That God who sent his government, and God's government that has been dormant for over 2021 years today, is about to be activated. It's about to become manifested. It's about to become real on planet Earth, so that people will see the difference between the government of the devil and the government of heaven and God. Jesus talked about governance on earth. And he brought a government. But unfortunately, because we fail to understand the concept, the government of heaven has been dormant and inactive for over 2,000 years. The early disciples, Ananias, in time of Ananias and Sapphira, they attempted to bring about the government of God, but they couldn't. That was how the word Commonwealth came about, which the British Queen is using. Commonwealth of nations. Commonwealth. But the question is, has the world been common? Is it not only some people enjoy the world and others don't even have ordinary water to drink? Look at Ghana. Is the world common? 6 million Ghanaians cannot get clean water to drink. And 24 million struggle to get it. Even in the city, you go to some places, it doesn't have water. So please, the government of heaven is about to be put in place. But it will take you and I to be ready. That's what God said. And I sought for a man to stand in this place. Will you be that man? Will you be that woman? Will you be that man, that young lady? Please like this video so that it can be exploded to other places in the world. And remember to share. And if you are new, subscribe. Thumb it so that you don't forget. This is the end of this video, and we are expecting you to be back again for more insight. Jesus talked about politics and government, and Jesus is telling his people that when you come into government, don't be like the world's government. May the Lord give you understanding, and see you again. Bye-bye.